Hello, guys, and welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. There's some weird stuff going on with my audio at the moment. For some reason, I think my microphone cable is out, so I need to switch it up. So if we have any audio issues, I do apologize. But today, I'm very, very happy to bring today's guest because this has been on the cards for a while. I was working with Amy Tuitt for a while. She's an amazing girl. She is fantastic. And she mentioned someone that was a bit of a mentor for her and really helped her I don't know what the way. Well, it's hard to find the words. Better yourself seems like such a negative way of saying doing well and pushing yourself forward. But my guest today is Sasha Holly Buy. How are you, Sasha? You good?
I am grand, thank you. It's a beautiful day, and yeah, I'm here. I'm breathing, so I'm all good. How are you?
I'm good. I have been overdoing it over the last couple of weeks, so I've been kind of stepping away. Not doing the work I should be doing, but more sort of enjoying time with my family, knowing that I'm falling behind on things. You know, so like it's just hard to balance things out without making yourself go off the edge a little bit. You know, you got to realize, you know, I'm only human. I can't do all this. So that's where I'm at the moment.
I think the reason why we struggle with balance is because balance is almost like a false ideology, and actually true life balance can't ever fully be achieved, and how sometimes we have to know that you do have to drop the hammer on work side of things, you know. And what we use in the coaching club is, imagine you've got a gas burner, a gas hob, and you've got family, it could be friends and social life, then you've got career, then it could be like your own personal standards. You can't have all of those burners on flat out at once. So they kind of have to be dialed in. So you've probably just had a bit kind of excess work for the last couple of weeks, and now you've turned that burner down and you've upped the family side of things. I think that's great.
Good. Oh, I'm glad I'm doing something right there. It's good to hear positive, you know, when you feel like, oh my God, I haven't done my homework. Teacher's going to go nuts. Like, so it's nice to be able to say, oh, actually, no, it's fine. It's all right. You just got to catch up a bit later on. But the thing is, I do live for it. I live for the high pressure, let's go out there, get some content, meant something great, and put myself on the spot a little bit. I do like that, don't get me wrong, but I think sometimes I wade too far into it before I'm kind of like, oh my God, what have I done to myself? You know, I think that's kind of, I'm not the only one that goes through that. I guess it's quite common. And Sasha, the people watching this, you may or may not have seen Sasha's amazing Facebook Lives walking around. I saw one this morning. That was fantastic. Yeah. The speed in which you scaled that cock, by the way, I was just like, wow, fantastic.
Oh, I'm rapid.
Where does this all begin? Like, how do you start on this trajectory? Because the way I see it is, not everybody can be a life coach. Not everybody can go out there and want to help others. You've got to kind of be built a certain way, I guess. So how do you start on this path?
So just side note, I'm not a life coach. I'm not a qualified life coach at all.
Sorry.
It's okay though. It's all right. Look,
you can clarify
people see me like helping people with their lives, and they assume I'm a life coach. I help people to lead and live a better life, but I'm not a certified life coach. I just have to say that. Okay. So I suppose I don't really know.
I've just lost your audio for a second there, Sasha. I'm very sorry. I don't know why.
Is this okay?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Is it not really distorted?
It's a bit echoey, but it's fine. I can work with it. I can edit the post-production. It'll be fine. Absolutely fine. So you were just explaining how you're not a life coach, but you do these things to people and people assume that you are.
Yeah, so I suppose I do help people to lead and live a better life, but I'm just not a certified life coach. So I just wanted to put that in there in case there's any life coaches listening like, oh, let's check her on the registry. But no.
Hey, yeah.
Shut down. I suppose like when you ask like, where does this come from? Why do you want to help people? And for that, we have to go right back. So at the age of 4, my dad got sent to prison. I'm not going to go into details. I can do, but I think this is a bit of a family podcast, so we don't need to go too far into that. But he got sent to prison, basically. So I was a 4-year-old who had this parental figure who I absolutely idolized, and he was no longer there. I also had a mum who was 38 when she had me, which back in those days, 30 years ago, was quite late. And my other 3 siblings, they all have the same dad. and I have a different dad. Obviously, there's a 10-year gap between me and my next sibling up. I don't know why I said obviously, because that's not obvious, but yeah. So there's a lot of me from my younger years of feeling different, feeling like I had to exceed and succeed and really kind of push myself in order to fit in. I completely wipe the floor with my siblings when it comes to results and grades and everything like that. And I have that high achieving, driven tendency. Now, that has only become apparent in my mind over the last couple of years, I suppose. But looking back now, like, you can't connect the dots looking forwards. You can only connect going backwards and going, oh, okay, that now makes sense. And, you know, I've never been one of those people who are scared by change to the point that it stops me embarking on it. You know, I said that I was going to go to university, took a gap year, decided I didn't want to go, so just binned it, like, regardless of the amount of people who were like, you need to go to uni, you know, university is great, you must go. But I kind of just went, no, I don't want to do it, you know. And I've always had that kind of intuitive path of like, this is where we're going to go, and you're going to go against the grain a little bit. Society won't think that this is the right thing for you to do, but we're just going to do it anyway. Always been a little bit ballsy like that. And now, after being a personal trainer, so I was a personal trainer from the age of 19 up to about the age of 28, I suppose, and worked in a local gym called Bannatynes and built myself up, made a really good connection and community with the place there. But I always knew I was capable of more. It's great helping people to get physically fit. It's great helping people to get strong. It's great being there with them one-to-one. But I've always had a huge interest and kind of passion around human behavior, psychology. Why do we do what we do? And that's what I wanted to start to delve into. So when COVID came along, that's when I was like, this is a bit of an opportunity, actually. So I hired a mentor, and that is where we created the coaching club. So my very kind of passion behind what I do stems right the way back from a child, that you can be anything that you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. You are limitless. You can do it. The potential that you are currently hitting is way capped, you know, is so capped compared to where you can go. And I know some people listening to this will be like, oh, here we go. Here's a young 30-year-old woman who's all woo-woo and stuff. But trust me, if you have the desire and drive to change, you can do it. I'm not saying you can become Mo Farah overnight, but you can definitely start by going for a walk.
One of my heroes in life, there's two that completely changed their bodies. There's people laugh at this. One of them is Kevin Smith, like the director, did Jay and Silent Bob, Clerks, and all that stuff. He had a heart attack. He was a big guy. He was famous for the is it Southwest Airlines, where they threw him off a flight because he was too big for the one seat. So he was always that guy. But he had a heart attack and he lost loads of weight. Loads of weight. He became vegan and just was like, no, I'm going to walk Runyon Canyon every day and I'll lose weight. And he looks amazing now. And the other one's Ethan Suplee, who is he's an actor who is in lots and lots of films. You'll recognize him soon. I'll show you the picture now. You'll recognize him from most films in the 90s, early 90s, and his transformation is amazing. That is Ethan Suplee. He always played the fat dumb guy. And now he's ripped. Like, he's got an amazing podcast where he talks about his, and he's very much very much the same. Like, diets are, I only swore then. Diets are terrible. If you want it, go and get it. Like, he's very inspirational in that way. So I agree with you. If you want it, you can definitely go and get it.
And I think, you know, delving into the diet's a terrible thing. Yes, they are. Because they are a temporary fix to a lifelong system, i.e. your body, and the fact that your body needs food for the rest of its life to survive. You know, whereas a diet comes in and it goes, let's just do this to achieve this finite goal. And then you revert back to old methods. And also what a diet is, as is a gym, as is, you know, just a 12-week fitness plan. They are tactics. They are based on a tactic level. They are not about the thinking behind why we do what we do. So why is it that you stay in bed in the morning rather than get up and go for a walk? Why is it that you're emotionally eating? What is it that is causing you to feel different to your siblings? You know, diets don't and gym memberships and all those lovely things, which can sometimes work. And even dieting to a degree can be great for some people, but it has to be taken with a pinch of salt and also molded into your life. And you must be going deeper. You must be going one level deeper to understand the behavior, because if you're just doing the behavior and you're just going to go for 12 weeks, I am prepared to replace this behavior with this behavior to reach that goal. What happens once you've reached the goal?
You've repressed yourself.
And you're going on holiday or something, like normally people want to get fit for holiday, or, they don't fit in their jeans. So they just need to lose a couple of pounds in order to get them on. But you go backwards, don't you? You go, well, I've done this to replace this. Now I'm there. I just go back to this, whereas actually we need to go, do you want to keep going up and down in your way, up and down every single year and come back to this same position, more and more feeling like a failure every time, probably heavier every time? Or do you actually want to nip it in the bud once and for all? And that's what I help people to do.
I want to nip it in the bud. That's what I definitely want to do. I mean, I don't know what I've done to myself over the last year. I'm definitely very much in the public eye where it comes to Shrewsbury right now. My face is everywhere, right? And I released a live video, like an intro to my live show, and I'm skinny. And I thought I was fat at that time, and I wasn't. I was skinny, and I was on the keto diet, right? And it was fantastic. It was a way of life for us. It helped us at the time, and it's right. Once I got to a stage where I thought I was happy, I went way back to where I was way before keto and put the weight back on and some. So you're right. I mean, like, you are the professor, Sasha. I believe what you say. And it's about rewiring that brain, isn't it, permanently? And how do you do that? How do you rewire that? How do you change your way of life forever?
It slightly triggers me when people are like, "Oh, keto worked." Past tense. No, it didn't work. It didn't work. Otherwise, you'd still be doing it. And I like, sorry, everyone who's like doing Slim and Wild, and be like, Slim and Wild worked. Unless you want to keep on the yo-yo, on the diet roller coaster, then if that's what you want, then please carry on. Do a diet every springtime, lose weight for summer, then gain it all again over the winter, then come back here again. If that is how you wish to live your life, please be my guest, okay? But if we're looking at making long-term solutions, long-term changes, if you want to really focus on living the healthiest life, the most abundant life, because you've got your health, then we need to start looking at changing the narrative a little bit and looking at things from a very different way. So there's a lot to unpick, obviously, as with any journey, but you need to consider. So say, for example, what we do inside the coaching club, the very first thing that we do, and this is tactics, okay? This is not the thinking side of things. So the very first tactics that we will do, and this is tangible stuff that people can take away from the podcast, even including yourself if you want to, and start to implement. Step 1, optimize your nutrition, okay? Look at how, super simple, right? How many portions of fruit and veg do you have in a day? How many are you having?
Probably one a week. It's terrible. I'm really bad. Yeah.
Of fruit and veg.
Oh, vegetables. Vegetables. I'll definitely have vegetables at least once a day. Yeah.
Okay. So what we would look at doing there is go, on average, we're having 1 portion of fruit and veg per day. Okay. So we now need to gain and go up to 2. Make that become habitual. Then once that's habitual, we go up to 3. Once that becomes habitual, 4, and then all the way up to 5. The actually daily recommended is something like 10. At the NHS just try and say it to be kind, to get people to go from eating no vegetables to at least 1 portion per day.
5 a day.
And try and aim for the 5 a day. Because what happens when you have more vegetables and nutrients in your system is you have more energy, you have more desire to move your body, you feel healthier, you're putting dividends into your health. And also, if you're filling yourself up on other foods like that, and let's face it, vegetables are high volume foods with minimal calories. So you could literally have the biggest bowl of roasted vegetables with a bit of Dijon mustard or whatever it is that you wanted on them, with maybe some honey, tiny bit. And then you've got this massive bowl of food, which if you're a foodie like me will be like heaven. You can then eat all of that, be full, but for a quarter of the calories compared to a massive bowl of pasta, for example. So the very first step that you're looking to do is optimize your nutrition. What do people normally do? Restrict. when we have mass restriction, okay, and we are like severely looking at pulling down the calories, or I can't have any naughty food, inverted commas, in the week, when we have these rules around food, we then always will be followed with a binge. So keto worked for you for X amount of time, restriction, but then you went all the way the other way because it's always followed with a binge. And a binge could be a day or it could be a year.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely a year for me. I definitely like, I saw you this morning talking about emotional eating and stuff, and I think it was up. It's just I was scrolling through your Facebook, so it could have been this morning, it could have been another video. But like, I definitely like. I mean, I excel in some things and don't excel in others, and I feel like I kind of punish myself, or I need a safety net for those other things I think I fail in. When it comes to talking behind a microphone, I am king, right? Nobody can. I do the thing because I'm good at it, right? That is what I excel in. Being out there in the world and speaking to people in person is something I don't deal very well with, which is very odd. And I feel like I kind of panic a little bit. So when I get home from a busy day at a festival or I've done something like that, I'm kind of like, oh my God, I'm so terrible. I did all these terrible things. Let's get a takeaway. That'll make me feel a bit better for a little bit of a moment. Then I'll eat it and I'll feel guilty. You probably hear this all the time, I'm sure.
Yeah. There's so much to unpick there because, one, why are you so hard on yourself when you don't do things as well as you'd like?
It's something I've always done, I guess. I don't know. It's just I guess it's my system. I feel I try my best to with the biscuit. I put a lot of time into it. So like, I feel like if I've slipped, like I did a live show on Wednesday, and if you guys watch this live, you'll comprehend where I'm coming from. The audio was bad, the internet was bad, my notes weren't coming up as they were supposed to be, so I was kind of like in this live, and afterwards I just felt so terrible. I was like, this is the thing I've worked towards, and it's a show like that could probably ruin it all. So I feel like I've done a bad disservice to myself. Do you know what I mean? So that feels bad to me. Well, there are times when I'm just like, as far as my image is concerned, I don't particularly care. Never have done. As how I look, it's how I perform. That's how I judge myself. Yeah.
So you will have picked up the high achieving perfectionist potentially tendencies from somewhere. And they can come from, when we're children and we don't have control, and we realize that if we get good grades, similar to mine, I realized if I would perform and get good grades, that my mum would be the one who would give, the kind of celebration and the attention to me. So that's why I picked it up. And the more research you do into, high achieving tendencies and the self-applied pressure, listen to those words, self-applied, to exceed, the more you understand, because it's not, again, sorry to trigger you, but it's not just the way you are. You have learned that behavior because deep, back when you were a baby, there was no need to perform. There was no need to drive. There was no need to succeed at the cost of self. And then also, like when you were learning to walk, you would stand up, take a step, and then fall over. Then you'd be like, okay, that didn't work. Let's go again. Let's go again. Let's go again.
Yeah.
How about if you could apply the innocent ability of experimentation to, like you did when you were learning to walk, to you showing up on a live video, to you talking at a festival, because as adults, we learn at some point in life, failure is not okay. We also look at it from a really kind of like a tunnel vision focus. You're great at these podcasts. Give yourself a pat on the back. You are still working and building the skill of speaking in person. I'm exactly the same. Give yourself credit for trying. Give yourself credit for experimenting. Also give yourself compassion for understanding that any skill, if you want to become a skillful human, we have to go through the phase of being, what's that word? So consciously incompetent, so that we can get to the level of being consciously competent. Everything is a skill in life. Even the whole thing of mastering emotional eating, ordering the takeaway when you get home. Yeah, you had a bit of comfort because you felt a bit sorry for yourself or you'd had a crappy day. You decided to order a takeaway. Cool. That's all right. One thing that's great here is you've identified that. You know that you've done that. And emotional eating is a big thing, and it's something that we, especially if you've been on binge restrict cycles, the amount of joy we get from food is it's something that is innate. It's within us. We can't help the fact that we do find food joyous. That's okay. But if we make food scarce, and especially that highly palatable, highly tasty food, if we make it scarce, it's like someone be like, right, Alex, there's a big red button here. Okay. Big red one. Okay. Do not touch it, because you just don't touch it.
Don't tell me that, man.
You're going to want to touch the button. And it's exactly the same with this: do not eat that food, putting these food rules in place. Oh no, you're not allowed a takeaway. I would almost actively plan for the fact that I'm going to go talk at a festival today. It's out of my comfort zone. I'm going to be scared. I'm going to be panicky. I'm going to come away and I'm going to want to congratulate myself. Do I want a glass of fizz, or do I want a Chinese, or do I want both? Okay, plan it. Be realistic with yourself. We cause ourselves so much heartache, stress, and self-berating because of the rules that we kind of put on ourselves, or society puts on us. Whereas actually, you are an adult. You have control of how you live your life now and the decisions that you make.
That's the worst thing. I can go to Aldi now and buy 8 tubs of. I'm not going to, by the way. 8 tubs of ice cream and eat them all because I'm an adult. I can do what I want. But no, I get what you mean. No, it is about controlling your emotions so much you don't crash. You sort of murder yourself inside. You're allowed to do these things. It's nice.
Also, so another thing on that is the emotions aren't the problem. It's what you think about the emotions. So we all have days where we struggle to get out of bed. We all have days where we like body image and we look at ourselves in the mirror and we're like, oh God, really? We beat ourselves up, or we're anxious. Like for me, self-applied pressure is something I do quite a lot. So I identify it, accept it, and honor what I need in that moment. What a lot of us do, because of maybe how we were parented or teachers when we were younger. Oh no, don't cry. No, you're not allowed to cry. Come on, it's fine. Come on, it's absolutely fine. Suppress. Then what happens? We need to eat our emotions to make ourselves feel better, maybe numb ourselves with some alcohol, all these kind of instant gratification resources that are out there to take us away from the present moment and how we're actually feeling. So remember, the emotions aren't the problem. It's almost like your relationship with the emotions.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And we could definitely dive down that rabbit hole for a whole hour and a half just by itself, couldn't we? There's so much to unpack there just with that bit there, and you must be dealing with with the amount of people that you do help. You must be dealing with so many different perspectives of how people want to help themselves and how they try and navigate through this. Especially, for example, speaking about the world of Instagram, we talk about the Instagram verse and how damaging it can be, but it can also be quite rewarding as well when you see your achievements. So it kind of has that flip side. Do you deal with that quite a bit?
What do you mean when you say damaging? What point are you on about there?
Well, we've been talking about how young people see bodies on Instagram and they perceive that's how a body should look, when there's a lot of photos on there that are photoshopped, or they're taking up the perfect angle. And no, not everybody has to look like that. That's Instagram, quotation Instagram. So this, I've heard a lot of talk about how it can be damaging for young women in particular, to see that, to be immersed into that, and to try and try and attain those goals that are at times unachievable.
I think comparison is a thing that's happened for years, not just because of Instagram. When I was younger, it was what is it like? Is this Glam magazine on like the Kate Mosses of the world, and she would have the tiniest like patch of cellulite on the back of her legs, and they'd be zooming in with a big circle
the red
around
circles.
It. Yeah, God. So comparison has always been a thing. God, this is going to get a bit preachy, but imagine if we taught life skills in school. Imagine if a school curriculum wasn't just about history, maths, and science. Imagine if we taught them how to handle and deal with their emotions. Imagine if we taught them that every single body on this planet is different, and that's what's beautiful about our bodies and ourselves as unique gifts in our personality and our characteristic traits. Imagine if we actually equipped children today with the things that they're actually going to need. And sure, there is a place for the curriculum, and a great job, but we're almost left to fend for ourselves. Even if you look down the route of business, you don't get taught anything about business in school. You get taught
how do you pay your taxes? There you go.
They don't teach you it.
No, they don't.
So it's like looking at because I work with women who are generally like in their 30s, 40s, 50s. So there is still comparison. Of course there is. But it's not like looking on Instagram and being like, I don't know, like putting a younger model on a pedestal, because we're actually very like one of my biggest traits and values, if you like, is to be authentic. And funny, you should mention this about the kind of edited Photoshop images, because how many months ago was it now? Like 4 months ago, I did a photo shoot and it was with a professional photographer. I had my makeup done. I had, and then she obviously went away and edited the photos, because that is what photographers do of this sort. And actually, ironically, yesterday, I had a message on my social media of this woman absolutely slamming me because I'm meant to be empowering women, and how dare I airbrush myself and edit my photos in order to make myself look better. And I agree. If my social media was full of a airbrush version of Sasha, which it's not. There are 5 photos that I purchased, right? 5 photos. And I've put a couple of them on. And I'm okay with that, because you know what? I worked towards a goal. I worked my ass off and I hit it, and I felt proud of myself. And
so you should.
The problem here isn't that I shared this photo, because people who say stuff that may be of a tone that can make you feel a little bit crappy, it's not about. So if I was to say something about you, I am projecting an insecurity on you, but an insecurity that I feel in myself. So this woman, for example, she's projecting an insecurity. Maybe she's not happy in her skin. Maybe she's not liking her body, or she's got a poor relationship with food at the minute. So she's projecting onto me, how dare you do this? It's wrong and blah, 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 body. That's got nothing to do with me. I'm just her sounding board, if you like. I'm her punch bag. Now, how that lands in me, and if I take offense to that, has nothing to do with her. Because if she lands in an insecurity in me, then I'm going to feel offended. Then I'm going to feel the need to defend myself. Then I'm going to feel the need to, whatever it might be. So this is where kind of insults, if you like, or the way that humans are to each other sometimes is interesting, because what they say has nothing to do with you, and how you feel has nothing to do with them. And
it creates panic. Yeah. For me, that would create panic. If somebody was up to be like, "Oi, Whiteley, the biscuit," right? I'd like, I wouldn't know where to do myself, because I'd work really hard on it, and I'd be like, I'd be typing and deleting and typing and deleting, and then going away from it, and then it would just absolutely go, because this is my world, right? And what you've created for yourself with what you do with the coaching club is something you've worked hard towards, and you do deserve to have those rewards. And nobody has a right to talk about anybody's image anyway. I mean, they do. I know they do, and we've got to prepare ourselves for that. But if anybody's going to, sort of slam me for what I do, at the same time, I want to give you all the abuse that's inside my head and defend myself. But at the same time, I know it's not professional. It's just a horrible situation. So
imagine if someone said to you, the biscuit is a aviation business. You'd be like, are you all right, mate? Like, is everything okay? Like, it clearly isn't. So the reason why, when someone says something and it triggers us, and remember that it's nothing about, when something triggers us, it's nothing about, them necessarily. It's something that already exists within us. So if someone said to you, the biscuit is crap, it's because there could be an element of you that maybe thinks that. Do you second guess it? Do you sometimes think it could be better?
All the time. Openly on the show. Every episode. Sorry.
Are your expectations higher than you can actually match up to right now? Are you trying to run before you can walk? So when something lands in you, it's because it's an insecurity that already exists. So someone could say to me, the coaching club is not great. And I'll be like, cool, maybe it's just not great for you. But I know there's proof in the pudding. And I know that what we do is absolutely life-changing for the right type of woman. Therefore, please, I thank you for your feedback. And if it can be a bit more constructive than that, then I would definitely sit down and have a brew with you to talk over it. But other than that, please go and take your insecurities elsewhere.
Yeah. I'd be like, well, the downloads prove you wrong there, sunshine. It's doing quite well, thank you very much. People like it. They listen
exactly.
to it.
And that's all you need. That's all you need. So when those comments, if they ever do get made, your instant reaction is that kind of inner child in you that will be a bit like, ow, that stings. But then you go, hang on, rational brain, let's kick in. My downloads are banging. I'm getting loads of people commenting that they're loving it. Let's apply the evidence. Because just because that one person said it's not, who else agrees with that one person? Because the thousands of downloads that you're getting don't agree with them. So this is where we always need to look for evidence, and people will only criticize from their own place of pain. So just remember that next time. And maybe there's some jealousy there. You just don't know.
I love it. I love what we do. It's like walking on a tightrope. It really is. I was horrified by, I don't like to get political at all, even on Twitter, like with the biscuit normally. But I saw something about that Kaczynski had said about the hospital staff in Shropshire, and I was like, "Ooh!" And I went straight on Twitter. And I was like, "How dare you, Kaczynski?" And I was like, I don't know where that came from, but it's like I like to avoid certain things with a biscuit, but the gloves were off at that point. I didn't care. It's weird, isn't it? How we set ourselves up for these sort of falls, and like, I'm so careful with things. But yesterday I didn't care. I was like, "Oh, he's getting it." So weird.
And that's all right. You know, sometimes you will go through phases of being like that, and we are only human. And sometimes you just need to let rip and just go for it. You know, I actually did this to the social media comment yesterday. Yes, usually I will read it, absorb it. Is there anything that I can learn from this? Is there anything I actually need to take on board? Is it constructive? No. Delete it, block, done. But yesterday I felt the need to share that actually this happens to us all. We get trolled, we get abused, we get, we will receive these things, and to share it with people will hopefully help when, say, for example, you receive a crappy message in the next few months, you'll remember back to this conversation and be like, it's okay. It's not just me. It happens all the time, and it's a projection. So I think, sometimes allowing yourself to just let rip is okay,
Good. Let off a bit of steam. Just to be careful where you do that, folks. If you're listening, Sasha, I think you're fascinating. I think what you do is fantastic. You help so much people, and I love chatting to you actually. And we'll definitely do a chapter 2. Maybe we can meet up and do it like in person. Unless people are enjoying this on YouTube, we'll put this on YouTube. If people enjoy actually seeing this rather than just listening to the audio version, please get in touch with us. Sasha, if people want to sort of get involved with the coaching club and yourself, how would they find you guys?
You're better off just finding me at the minute, because the website is going through a bit of a rebuild. So I am on Facebook and Instagram, Sasha Holly Buy. We also have an Instagram page that's called the Coaching Club Worldwide. I only work with women. And only women of a particular caliber, because I know I can get them ridiculous results. So it's like, if you're driven, ambitious, time poor, but you know that you're capable of so much more and you're not tapping into your potential, you want holistic results, not just to do with the dieting side of things, then maybe we can have a chat and we'll discuss whether the coaching club is the right place for you to step up into the next version of yourself.
And that's one of the things I love about you is, you talk about our focus mentally as well, and I think that's fantastic because, for us guys, I know you help women, but for us guys, it's kind of like, right, you've got to eat red meat, all this alpha stuff. And I'm not that guy. All right. I can go to the gym and I can run 5K. I've been at the gym recently doing 5K, and people are like, why you can't run 5K? And I'll be like, look, I just did 5K. It's there. Look, I've got a belly, but I can run. Jesus Christ, leave me alone.
Let me live.
Yes, exactly. Well, Sasha, we'll do chapter 2. I really would love to do this, and maybe what we can do is we can set some homework for myself. I don't know. We can work away with helping me and helping listen at the same time, but also not giving too much of a freebie away, because obviously you need to be.
So here we go. The freebie, the stuff to go and work away on is, first of all, monitor your nutrient intake. Okay, so have a look at how many fruit and veg you're eating, and gradually add 1 per period until it feels normal, habitual, then add another and get up to 5. Once you've done that, have a look at your protein. You want to be aiming for, so if you're currently having meat or meat substitutes with 1 meal per day, up it to 2. But you need to get the fruit and veg to 5 first. Then you come onto protein. We want to build that gradually up to 3. Then you want to start maintaining all of that, then looking at your water intake. You know, if you're currently having 15 espressos a day, we need to tap that down, replace one of them with water, make sure that feels habitual, then another one. You know, and it's a really slow process. And this is why shredded 8-week plans are the biggest load of BS ever, because it takes time for these changes to embed long term. So the minimum term I'll work with anyone is 6 months, because it takes time to go right the way through these habits, swap them out, be challenged with things like holidays or, you know, family dramas and different things like that, because that will kind of put us into a different state. And therefore we are more prone to doing things like emotionally eating and all those wonderful things. So that would be the first thing I would ask you to do, is let's look at optimizing with, first of all, fruit and veg, then go up to your protein, and then go onto your water. And that should take you maybe 8 weeks.
Okay.
And in 8 weeks time, we're having 5 fruit and veg a day every day. And it's habitual, it's easy, you love it. 3 servings of protein per day and 2 liters of water. That's, in 8 weeks is rapid for that, to be fair. And we're not doing this basing on the progress. We're doing it based on process. Okay. I don't care if you don't lose weight. Okay. For now.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got to focus on the process, because once we're process focused, as a byproduct of that, things should start to happen, but we're not going to focus on it.
Okay. It's all about rewiring your brain, right? Making sure that this is how we live now. Okay. This isn't. Okay.
And
we'll do that.
Yeah. And the final thing, because people hear 8 weeks and maybe no weight loss. Why does that matter if we're going to be changing this for the rest of your life? We live in a very instant society. You order something on Amazon Prime, you can usually get it by the end of the day or by tomorrow morning. So we want instant gratification. I cannot urge you enough with this own self-development, wellness, holistic wellness program, but your way of life. If we want this to be consistent, we don't ever want to be in this position again. We have to gradually, slowly move the needle and really refrain from that instant gratification. So remember, when you're getting impatient, we are not an Amazon Prime delivery, and we are in this for the long haul. And
we make mistakes.
Yeah,
really,
definitely.
Yeah. That's one thing I got from this. Yes, I love that. Well, Sasha, thank you so much. We'll let you go because I know we're running short on time. I've got another interview in a bit as well. I'll be speaking to Olivia Hawkins. But yeah, thank you so much for chatting to me today, Sasha. We will organise chapter 2. I think we could do this again like this. Actually, I quite like this, having this on YouTube, and we can repurpose this for like TikTok and stuff, and give people some good tips and stuff. That'd be really good. Before we get out of here, guys, I need to remind you guys about Pod Aid. On at 9 a.m. on Thursday, the 29th of September, we're going to be doing a 24-hour live podcast. It's going to be fantastic. We are going to be at Love to Stay. They've got an amazing room upstairs. I've got pictures here, actually. I still got them from the live show. Look, that's an amazing room. We're going to have our studio at the back there with cameras. Charles Denscom's given us TV cameras to use. We've got 24-hour-long guests coming along. We're sponsored by Reach. They're going to make us look sexy with all our media and social media and all this sort of stuff. And we're going to be raising as much money as we can for Lincoln Davis. We raised over £3,000 last year. So we're going to be working hard to try and beat that this year. But pay attention, because there's going to be lots of change in the social media. It will come to life in the next couple of weeks. So please pay attention to Pod Aid. And if you can find the Facebook page, give it a follow and like and stuff, because it will come to life soon. Sasha, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been great chatting to you.
Thank you.
And we'll catch you guys next time on the Shrewsbury Biscuit. Peace out.